Welcome to our deep dive into the human side of project management.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at an excerpt from Project Management Monitoring by Dr. Emmett Chocladar.
Okay.
Um, we tackle projects all the time
Mhm.
at work, at home, even just planning our weekends.
You're right.
So whether you're leading teams or just trying to get things done,
Yeah.
this deep dive can help you level up your project game.
Absolutely. And Dr. Chikladar really hits on something important here.
Okay.
We often focus so much on the tools and processes of project management,
Mm-hmm.
like our schedules and budgets,
Yeah.
that we forget about the people involved.
It's so true. We get so lost in the weeds
Yeah.
of Gantt charts that we miss the forest for the trees.
Right.
So how does Dr. Chocladar suggest we bring the focus back to the human element?
Well, he starts by highlighting something that might seem obvious at first.
Okay.
Project management has two main phases,
Okay.
planning and control.
Uh-huh.
They're like two sides of the same coin.
Okay. I think I see where this is going. It's a bit like planning a road trip.
Yeah.
Right? You map out your route book hotels
Mm-hmm.
and set a budget. That's the planning.
Yes. And then as you're actually on the road, you're adjusting your route for traffic,
Uh-huh.
maybe splurging on a fancy dinner, dealing with those unexpected detours. That's the control phase.
And just like a good road trip needs both a solid plan
Yeah.
and flexibility on the road, good project management hinges on both phases working together.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Dr. Chakladar argues that we can't ignore the human side of things,
Right.
especially when deadlines loom and pressure mounts.
Yeah.
There's often this assumption that tightening the timeline will magically solve any people problem.
Oh, I've definitely seen that happen.
Yeah.
But instead of pushing people harder,
Yeah.
maybe we should be addressing those human factors before things even kick off.
Right. Short timelines can't fix underlying issues. In fact, they often make things worse.
Yeah.
So Dr. Chakladar talks about this concept of the dream project manager, suggesting there are two main types of people in the world:
Okay.
idea generators and those who get things done.
Ooh, I like this. Which one are you? Are you the visionary big picture thinker or the one who rolls up their sleeves and makes things happen? I
Right.
think I lean more towards, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but the key takeaway here is that the most successful project managers blend both skill sets.
Okay.
They need that creative vision, but they also need to be able to execute and get things done.
It's that balance of inspiration and perspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
You need both to make a project really sing.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Chakladar gets even more specific,
Yes.
outlining 7 essential traits of a truly great project manager.
And instead of just running down the whole list,
Okay.
let's focus on a couple that I think will be particularly helpful for you.
Okay.
One is being able to make decisions, especially under pressure.
That resonates with me.
Yeah.
I tend to overthink things and can get stuck in analysis paralysis, especially when there are a lot of moving parts. So decisiveness is definitely something I could work on.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But even with incomplete information, good project managers are comfortable making the call and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And often that's better than getting bogged down by endless analysis.
And what's another trait that you think would be beneficial for me,
Sure.
given my tendency to get stuck in the weeds sometimes?
Well, Dr. Chakladar talks about the importance of learning from past mistakes.
Right.
This applies to everyone, not just project managers.
It's so easy to get caught up in the blame game.
Yes.
But really, it's about taking a step back and figuring out what went wrong and how to avoid similar issues in the future.
Exactly. Take the infamous new Coke launch.
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola did tons of market research,
Right.
but they completely missed how emotionally attached people were to the original formula.
That's a classic example of how even the most detailed plan can go off the rails if you don't consider the human element. And I'm starting to see just how important it is to learn from those missteps.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of monitoring,
Okay.
Dr. Chakladar briefly touches on the topic of organizational structures,
Okay.
mentioning functional matrix and pure project structures.
So how do these different structures actually play out in the real world?
Okay.
And what are the pros and cons of each?
Well,
I have to admit, this is an area where I could use a bit more clarity.
in a functional structure, teams are organized by their specialty,
Okay.
like marketing, engineering, or finance.
Got it.
Each department works on different parts of the project.
Uh-huh.
It can be very efficient, but communication across departments can become a challenge.
So that's where the potential for those dreaded silos comes in.
Exactly. Then there's the matrix structure,
Right.
where team members report to both a functional manager and a project manager.
Ah, so you get the benefit of specialized expertise,
Right.
but also have someone focused on coordinating everyone's efforts toward the project goals.
Yeah.
What about the pure project structure?
In a pure project structure, everyone works exclusively on the project,
Okay.
reporting directly to the project manager.
Mm.
This allows for a lot of focus and quick decision-making,
Okay.
but it can also lead to duplication of effort if you're not careful.
So it sounds like choosing the right structure really depends on the specific project,
Yeah,
its complexity, and how important those clear lines of communication are.
that's right. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Mm-hmm.
And a good project manager understands the nuances of each structure,
Okay.
but no matter the structure, the human element remains critical.
Okay, so we've got the planning side of things down.
Yes.
But what about control? How do we effectively monitor our projects to make sure they're on track?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into next.
Okay.
Think of it as getting your hands on the steering wheel of your project road trip.
Okay.
We'll be back after a quick break to explore the ins and outs of project monitoring.
Sounds good. All right. We're back and ready to tackle the control phase. The project monitoring.
Right.
It's like we've planned our road trip, packed the car,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're finally hitting the road, but we need to keep an eye on things to make sure we're heading in the right direction.
That's a great analogy. And just like checking your map and fuel gauge on a road trip, project monitoring is all about regularly checking progress against your plan. Are you on track in terms of time, budget, and performance? Are you meeting those quality standards you set out to achieve?
So it's about having your finger on the pulse of the project,
Yeah,
making sure everything is flowing smoothly and course correcting if needed.
exactly. Dr. Thyagarajan, who's quoted in our source material, defines monitoring as periodic checking of progress of works against the targets laid down in order to ensure timely completion. But it's not just about catching problems early on.
You know, this makes me think about those times when I've been heads down in a project, laser focused on my own tasks. I can sometimes miss the bigger picture.
That's why effective monitoring involves the whole team, not just the project manager. Everyone needs to be comfortable sharing their progress, flagging potential roadblocks, and celebrating successes together.
It's like everyone in the car is responsible for keeping an eye out for those scenic overlooks or detour signs.
Exactly.
We're all in this together now. Speaking of detours, we talked earlier about this intriguing concept of abandonment analysis.
Ah, yes. The idea that sometimes the best decision is to walk away from a project. It might seem counterintuitive, but knowing when to call it quits can be just as crucial as pushing forward.
I think it's something that a lot of us struggle with, right?
Yeah.
We're often taught to persevere, to never give up.
Yeah.
But sometimes knowing when to change course is the smarter move.
Mm.
So how do we know when it might be time to consider abandoning a project?
Well, Dr. Chakladar lays out a 4-step process.
Okay.
First, you take a hard look at where the project stands right now. Are you meeting your milestones? Are costs and timelines still within those limits you set?
So it's an honest assessment of the current reality, not just wishful thinking, what's the next step?
Then you try to project the project's future.
Okay.
Are there potential challenges or risks lurking on the horizon? Are there opportunities you might be missing if you stay the course?
Okay, so we're looking ahead and forecasting what might be coming down the road.
The third step is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
You determine the abandonment value. Basically, what would you gain by shutting the project down now?
Okay.
Maybe you recoup some costs, free up resources for other projects, or simply avoid further losses down the line.
Yeah, it's a fascinating way to look at it. It's
Yeah.
almost like asking yourself, what opportunities are we saying no to by continuing with this project?
Exactly. And then finally, you compare the projected value of sticking with the project versus the value of walking away. If abandoning the project seems like the smarter move, then it might be time to make that tough decision.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about giving up easily, but about making a strategic decision based on realistic assessment of the situation. It's about choosing the best path forward, even if it means taking a detour.
Now, to help us navigate all of this, we need good tools for managing the flow of information right. And that's where a project management information system, or PMIS, comes in.
I have to admit, every time I hear PMIS, my eyes start to glaze over a bit. Can we break that down into something a little less technical?
Absolutely. Think of a PMIS like the central nervous system of your project. It's a way to collect, organize, and analyze all the data related to your project so everyone is on the same page.
Okay, so it's not just a fancy spreadsheet.
It can be a lot more than that. A good PMIS can track your progress, manage resources, create budgets, analyze performance, and even facilitate communication between team members. Think speed, accuracy, and efficiency all in one place.
It's almost like having a digital co-pilot for your project road trip.
Now, speaking of keeping things organized, Dr. Chakladar also draws a distinction between financial audits and project audits. And it's an important one because they're focused on different things.
So it's not just about making sure the numbers add up.
Right. A financial audit is all about making sure resources are being used efficiently and that funds are being allocated and spent appropriately.
It's about making sure we're staying within our budget on that road trip and not blowing all our cash on souvenirs at the first rest stop.
Exactly. But a project audit is broader. It's about looking at the overall management of the project. Are you sticking to the timeline, meeting quality standards, managing risks effectively?
So it's more holistic. Are we on the right road? Are we making good time? And is everyone still enjoying the ride?
Precisely. Both types of audits are valuable tools for ensuring project success. But it's important to understand their different purposes. And, thinking about audits, it reminds me of how much emphasis Dr. Chakladar puts on understanding why projects sometimes fail.
I was just thinking about that list of reasons he gave. It's pretty sobering, but maybe instead of dwelling on the negative, we can flip the script and talk about what we can do to set ourselves up for success.
I like that. Let's shift our focus to proactive steps we can take. What are some things that come to mind for you based on what we've discussed so far?
Well, first and foremost, it all comes back to people building a strong team, not just in terms of skills, but in terms of personalities and work styles.
Absolutely. We need people who are not only competent, but also collaborative, communicative, and adaptable people who are excited to be on the journey together.
And once you have that dream team in place, setting clear expectations right from the start is crucial, making sure everyone understands the goals, the milestones, and their roles in getting there.
Right, and that brings us back to communication. We need those open and honest conversations, regular check-ins, and opportunities for feedback. It's about making sure everyone stays on the same page throughout the entire journey.
And let's not forget to celebrate those wins along the way. Acknowledging those small victories can really boost team morale and keep everyone motivated, especially when the road gets a bit bumpy.
Those celebrations are like those fun pit stops we take on road trips where we grab ice cream or take a goofy photo together. They help recharge the team and remind us why we're on this adventure together.
Exactly. And speaking of adventure, I think it's important to remember that project management is a journey of continuous learning. There's always something new to discover, a new skill to master, a new approach to try.
I love that perspective and resources like Dr. Chakladar's book give us a roadmap and a toolkit for that journey. But they also encourage us to think critically, adapt, and find what works best for our specific projects and teams.
It's about embracing that growth mindset, being open to new ideas, and never stopping that learning process.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to challenge you to think about how you can apply what we've talked about to your own projects. How can you strengthen those leadership skills, enhance communication, and create a more collaborative and productive environment for your team?
And remember, project management isn't about reaching some perfect destination. It's about embracing the journey, learning from every twist and turn, and enjoying the ride along the way.
We'll be back after a quick break to explore some final thoughts and wrap up our deep dive into the human side of project management. Stay tuned.
We're back for the final stretch of our deep dive into the human side of project management.
Okay.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Exploring everything from planning and control to those crucial human elements that can make or break a project.
It's interesting how everything keeps circling back to people.
Right.
It's not just about sticking to a schedule or hitting those milestones. It's about understanding and supporting the people who are doing the work.
It's like that saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Right.
We need to pace ourselves, support each other, and remember that we're all in this together.
And to that point, I want to highlight one last concept from Dr. Chakladar that I think is especially relevant.
Okay.
Continuous learning. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind of a project.
Yeah.
And forget to step back and learn from our experiences.
That really resonates with me. I can get so laser focused on checking things off my to-do list that I forget to actually reflect on what's working, what's not, and how I could approach things differently next time.
It's about taking the time to sharpen the saw, as they say, continuously learning and growing as a project leader.
Okay.
And that learning can come from so many places: books, articles, online courses, mentorship.
Mentorship, that's a great point. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, get advice from and learn from their experience can be so valuable.
And it's not just about finding a mentor. It's about being open to learning from everyone around you,
Right.
even those with less experience.
There's always something new to learn no matter where you are in your project management journey.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the human side of project management,
Okay.
I want to leave you with a few key takeaways to ponder. First and foremost, never lose sight of the people involved. Invest the time and effort to build those strong relationships with your team, understand their strengths, and create an environment where they feel valued and supported.
And remember, communication is key.
Yes.
Keep those lines of communication open, encourage feedback, and make sure everyone is on the same page throughout the project lifecycle.
Another key takeaway is to embrace continuous learning. Seek out new knowledge, experiment with different approaches, and don't be afraid to learn from your mistakes. Project management is an ever-evolving field, and there's always something new to discover.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
but hopefully you're walking away with a renewed appreciation for the human element of project management. It's what makes this field so challenging and rewarding.
Absolutely. And remember, if you're ever facing a particularly tricky project management dilemma or just want to chat about some of the concepts we've discussed today, you know where to find us.
That's right.
We're always here to help you navigate the complexities of the human side of project management.
Until next time, happy projecting.